crisis from Geoscience Resources, 2990 Anthony Road, Burlington, North Carolina, 27215. One last note on the above account. William Cooper describes another incident involving a reptilian gray which was allegedly recovered from a crash retrieval in the Southwest. Enormous efforts were taken to try to save the life of this ugly little beast, which had a tendency to lie its way through subsequent interviews with military intelligence. Yet when it came to an actual human alien like Hank, certain people could apparently have cared less for his or their personal welfare. Cooper also alleged that the secret government for a large part refused to ally themselves with the Nordics or human aliens who warned them about the malevolence of the Greys, and chose instead to go ahead and form an alliance with the reptilian Greys, since an Illuminati Grey alliance would seemingly help the cause of the power elite, serpent cults, who are making a killing off of exploiting the masses, a practice which the Greys themselves encouraged and assisted in. One claim is that the serpent cultists working in the government already maintain an ages-old pact with these draconian powers, and one can reason that because of this they may have refused the advances of the Nordics. Apparently these did not desire to accept the conditions required by the Nordics, which included the discontinuation of nuclear weapons proliferation and the cessation of multi-billion-dollar war efforts which, according to many sources, have also filled the pockets of the secret government which covertly operates through secret societies in nearly every country. Such wars, conflicts, revolutions, etc., many believe, have been directly influenced and orchestrated by the serpent cult, or secret society groups. The pathetic individuals responsible for formulating the alliance pact with the Saurian Greys, instead of with our Nordic cousins who now make up an interstellar federation of worlds very similar to the one depicted in Star Trek, literally sold out our nations to the beast. Let's pray that the situation is not irredeemable. For one's information, a brief description of just what the Illuminati is, might be helpful at this point. Many researchers suggest that the Illuminati is a Jesuit invention or reinvention simply because Illuminati founder, Adam Weishaupt, who started the order in Bavaria, Germany, was a Jesuit. Also, the Scottish Rite of Masonry, which advocates the destruction of national sovereignties in exchange for Illuminati government, has allegedly been traced back to the Jesuit college at Clermont in Paris, as have been other Jesuit-initiated Masonic rites. The Jesuits themselves were founded by Ignatius Loyola, who had been previously arrested in Spain for subversive activities as a Gnostic. The order was admittedly founded mainly for the purpose of crushing Martin Luther's Protestant movement, which protested Rome's denunciation of the plan of eternal salvation by grace as it appears in the Book of Romans. This is evidenced by the fact that the Jesuit oath, which advocated the killing of Protestant men, the cutting off of the breasts of Protestant women with shears, and the cutting open of the wombs of Protestant women so that their unborn children could be smashed against the rocks, was fulfilled to the letter during the well-documented and bloody Roman Inquisitions. These took place during the Dark and Middle Ages of so-called Holy Roman Empire rule, which began when the last of the emperors or Pontifex Maximus of the Roman Empire, Constantine, declared himself to be the first official Roman pontiff or pope. Constantine paid lip service to Christianity, yet secretly held to the ancient Babylonian mystery religion, of which he himself was high priest, or Pontifex Maximus, one in the long line of many which can be traced back to Nimrod, the first king of Babylon himself. This statement may raise anger in some who religiously defend man-made traditions, however history is history and facts are facts. If one doesn't believe that Constantine intended to carry on his Roman Empire and its conquest of the world under the veneer of religion, then just remember what the Roman Spanish conquistadors did to the Mayas under Cortez, who slaughtered over 5 million of them. See Travels, PBS Network, February 15, 1993, the Incas under Pizarro, and the Pumas under Coronado. The Illuminati allegedly began in ancient Babylon and is said to be a mixture of Kabbalism, the ancient Babylonian mystery religion, and ancient Baal worship. Their vision was the same as that of Nimrod, Aka Osiris, Baal or the sun god and consort of Semiramis, Isis, or Ashtoreth respectively. Nimrod was the original king of Babylon and the builder of the Tower of Babel. Some sources allege that the CIA and the Nazi movements were tied into the Illuminati, and that later these two organizations under the cult of the all-seeing eye joined forces in an effort to initiate plans for a world dictatorship. Part of this would of course involve working with the Greys and other saurian species in underground bases in a joint effort to establish absolute world despotism. The Illuminati, or the Serpent Cult, is allegedly infiltrating political, economic, educational and religious institutions with the help of the Greys, which have admitted to some that they have been the guiding power behind witchcraft and many of the ancient occult lodges over the centuries, which have promised the Illuminati a part of the pie once this world is under their control. This infiltration is allegedly carried out through organizations like the International Working Man's League, which according to world economists such as Dr. John Coleman, molded Karl Marx and his future as a communist dictator. Another key figure in the connection between the Illuminati, Masonry and the Jesuit Lodge was the Jesuit priest Giuseppe Mazzini, the second in command to Universal Pontiff of Freemasonry, Albert Pike, and who according to some inside sources even went so far as to organize a branch of the Mafia known as the Oblonga, within one of the 22 Palladium lodges which were initiated to oversee world Illuminati revolutionary activities, carefully hiding its connection with the Grand Lodge in England. The Illuminati headquarters in America may be hidden within the Masonic House of the Temple in Washington, D.C., Scottish Rite headquarters, which is curiously enough set atop the pentagram-like street layout of the city itself. Former 33rd degree Mason and past master of all Scottish Rite bodies, Evangelist Jim Shaw, Post Office Box 884, Silver Springs, Florida, 32668, tells of his own defection from the cult in his book The Deadly Deception. Shaw reveals the fact that the inside of the Scottish Rite headquarters is filled with carvings, murals and many other representations of serpents. The High Masons apparently revered the serpent symbol in what might be considered worshipful awe. Thus the name of their ancient cult, which William Cooper refers to as the cult of the snake or dragon, a serpent cult which was very active among the ancient Gnostic serpent cults of Pharaoh Egypt. Even General George Washington was a member of the Stone Masons Guild early on. However, when he learned that it was being infiltrated by the Bavarian German Illuminati, he left the lodge. This infiltration was also confirmed by the presidents of Yale and Harvard universities, who discovered that two fraternities, Yale's Skull and Bones, and Harvard's Scroll and Key, had been infiltrated by this German occult lodge in an attempt to gain highly educated initiates who would be used to carry out their future plans for world control, plans which included the destruction of nation-states to be replaced by a world dictatorship, which they called the New World Order. There are even allegations that Skull and Bones grads helped to finance the Communist and Nazi parties for the Illuminati's Machiavellian world scenario, which included the orchestration of world conflicts, pitting various nations or factions against each other, for the purpose of eventually beating the nations of the earth into a global dictatorship or New World Order synthesis. If this report is beginning to sound like an over-budget spy movie or a science fiction thriller, then, as they say, you ain't seen nothing yet. The Knights of Malta and the Club of Rome are also, according to conspiracy researchers, players in the endgame, in which the meek of the earth are the pawns. Both have advocated genocide to curb the population problem, since a true world socialist dictatorship can only survive if the population is kept to a controllable minimum. The KOM and COR are essentially outward arms or branches of the Illuminati, according to many. There are even rumors that tunnels and catacombs beneath Rome connect, or at one time connected with others beneath the island of Malta, and that a similar subterranean system utilized by the Western Illuminati exists beneath Washington, D.C. as well. In fact, Dr. John Coleman, in his report, Freemasonry and the One World Government, CO World Intelligence Review, Post Office Box 507, Chalmette, Louisiana, 70044, wrote before the AIDS threat became widely known among the public, that a secret society equivalent to today's Illuminati believed that it was their duty as the self-anointed gods over humanity to keep the population of the world from getting out of control, so that they could be more easily controlled. These ancient alchemists, Coleman alleges, were responsible for the Black Plague and other scourges which killed millions. He was convinced that they were preparing to wipe away millions more through viral warfare. According to Coleman, who claims to be an ex-intelligence worker for the British government, who defected when he learned the horrible truth. The Illuminati consists of the dual lodges of Jesuitism and Freemasonry.